Thinks of the motor system of the brain, it's usually reduced to the motor strip in the cerebral hemisphere, its connections, or its connection through the cortical spinal tract with the anterior horn cell, or the lower motor neuron, and then the lower motor neuron and its axon to the muscle. Now, these are very important players in this drama, but they're not the only important elements that we need to be aware of and understand in interpreting the motor findings in the motor examination on the neurological exam. First, we need to add two control circuits that influence the cortical spinal tract. Those control circuits are the basal ganglia and the cerebellum. There are also the indirect brainstem motor control centers and their pathways, which tonically activate lower motor neurons, especially those that innervate axial and anti-gravity muscles. Number 3, an upper motor neuron lesion is on the opposite side of the clinical findings for a lesion above the decussation of the pyramids, whereas it is on the same side as clinical findings if the lesion is in the spinal cord. An important part of the motor examination is the assessment of tone. And when we think of hypertonicity, increased tone, there's two main divisions, one of spasticity and the other of rigidity. Spasticity, which usually reflects cortical spinal tract disease, is rate and force dependent, and at the very end of the range of motion there's a giveaway. This has been referred to as the clasp knife phenomenon. It gets its name from the action of closing a pocket knife blade. As we initially put force on the pocket knife blade and try to close it, we have to put a lot of force. There's a lot of resistance, right up until towards the end of the closing where it just gives away and closes. That's the same type of giveaway phenomenon that we see in spasticity. Now, this is opposed to rigidity. Rigidity is usually secondary or from basic ganglia disease. The rigidity is not rate or force dependent. It's constant throughout the range of motion. So it's oftentimes referred to as lead pipe, or in modern terms, a plastic-like rigidity. It's kind of like this piece of plastic when I bend it back and forth. I have the same amount of resistance throughout the range of motion, and it's not really force or rate dependent. That's what rigidity feels like, is that plastic-like resistance throughout the range of motion.